Hi everyone, this is Deanna, the Organized Miss, and thanks for joining me back on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for subscribing, and if you just kind of found me along the way, if you'd like to subscribe, hit the like button and the subscribe button, and come back for more videos. They're all about planning and crafting. I like crafting, junk journaling, but I started kind of thinking I need to turn on the camera for my process, and that's what I'm doing here. So I have this view here where you can look at what I'm doing, and I'm going to try to look at the camera and talk with my hands at the same time. So I gathered a few extra things. I do not normally carry books with me around with my planner, but I thought I would sit down and just really talk about why I plan. So for me, I plan for two reasons. One, to reduce stress, and two, to help me remember things. And so I've always kind of kept some kind of notebook on me or planner of some system, some sort, but I wouldn't say that I had a full system. But when I need to get my memories back and work on doing things a new way, that's when I found this new kind of way of doing things for me. So this is a great book. I recommend it. If you haven't read it, it is Start With Why. And I think the reason why I got this, I know that I had been introduced to the why many years ago in my previous career, but David, I'm going to pull out a little card because David Allen said it really well in his book, GTD, Getting Things Done. The value of thinking about why helps us define success, creates decision-making criteria, aligns resources, motivates, clarifies focus, and expands options. So that was on page 68 of my very well-loved GTD book. And I obviously took notes and just kept that card in here. So I just put this little note in here to remind me that this is a great book. I'm probably not gonna review it right now because I'm gonna plan, but maybe I will do a review of this book later. But I just think the point of the illustration is to know why you're planning, to know what your purpose is. And for me, it is to have better recall and reduce stress. And so when I remember that's why I'm planning, it helps me stay motivated to do the plans, even when life gets off track, as it has during 2020. So when I start with my planning, I like to start with a brain dump or a download, or it's called a lot of things. Basically, it's a list of all the things that are on my mind. And I thought I'd bring out, I'm going to reference this a lot. I wouldn't say that I'm an expert in GTD because I'm not. There's a lot of great videos out there. David Allen has his own website, and people certified to teach it, but this is how I've adapted it to work for me. And so I don't mind sharing that with you because I learned a lot watching other people's videos, and I still learn a lot. And so I'm a professional student. I love learning, so I just love sharing what I've learned. So as you can tell, it's well loved, it's dog-eared, and it's tabbed to the most important things that I refer back to a lot, which as you can tell, it's this front section here because it's the main points. The whole rest of the book just expands on what's right up here. So the very first thing, so I'll just open up to my first tab because that's what's here. My very first thing I do is what David Allen recommends, is to capture everything that's taking your attention and nagging at you, or needs to be done, isn't done. And so he talks about ways in which you can capture and what tools to use. So what I do, and it's again different for everybody, but some people like to capture electronically. and do all their planning digitally. Some people like to use lists, which I do that also. It really depends on what my mood is at the time. So I might make a list. I'm going to set this here for a second. I might just use this little notebook, which is sort of a brain dump catch-all book, and I use that a lot of times for just listing out my thoughts, capturing them, and then I can figure out what to do with them next. And so that is what I'm going to do right now. I am getting ready to set up for November, and in order to set up, I have to just clear my mind of all the things on it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start listing. And David Allen has a list of triggers that he uses to just kind of sweep through and think of everything. I sometimes will refer to that because it's really great and comprehensive. There are things on the list that don't apply to me. So I do have my own list in here, and it has very specifically, it's under this GTD tab, so it's very specifically what helps me. So this, I've talked about this in previous videos. This is a weekly review, kind of a trigger list from Brandy Michelle Plans, and then behind it I keep my more detailed list here. It's about time to maybe make a new one. It's gone with me from planner to planner, and it's been folded and refolded, but this is really the heart of what I do each week to capture all the things, and this is my trigger list, so I refer to that after I just do a brain dump. So I'm going to do that here, and I think I'm going to speed it up. So once I have gotten my items captured, let's move that a little bit. Once I've gotten all the items captured that are running around in my mind, and on paper, I went through my lists and kind of made sure there weren't things waiting on me to take action. I just have them all listed here. Next is to clarify them. So next I need to decide what needs to be done. Do I need to do something? Do I need to delegate something? Or do I need to defer it? Move it over to a someday maybe list? Or can it be filed away? Is it done? Does it need to be referenced for later? Or is it trash? And so once I've decided to do it, delegate it, or defer it, then I can organize it. But all of these are not listed as something that needs to be done or delegated. They're just listed. So the next thing is I'm going to go through and decide what needs to be done with them. So that'll just be really quickly, because I was thinking about them as I was writing them down. So I know this is something I need to do. This is something I'm waiting on. This is something that is on the calendar. I want to just check and make sure it's on the calendar. I need to make a call. So do. So once I have decided, is it a do, delegate, am I waiting on? So a couple of these are waiting on. Then I can decide what is priority. So is there a time deadline on these that need to be done? And so that would be the next thing, so that I can determine what I need to do first. So this would be, I'm going to put kind of an arbitrary date over here on some of these, unless it's a hard date. So this is, I just know it's kind of upcoming in the next week. So I'm going to put November 1, meaning I'm not going to really consider doing them until this weekend, or closer to November 1. It will probably happen on November 1. I'm waiting on this, so there's nothing for me to do here. I'm just waiting. Here I'm going to check my calendar. So this is for me, I put a box in that means I need to check it off. So here I'm checking to make sure that this is on my calendar. So once I get my calendar out, I'll do that. I don't want to open my calendar and go back and forth between these items until I've clarified it. Once I get through this step, then I can think about organizing. So that'll be step 3 for the David Allen Getting Things Done method. For me, I've just developed kind of a shorthand, and this is just the way I process it. And so I'll just continue going through here and giving myself a box to know that it's something that I need to do. And it may seem, I don't know, it may seem like a lot, but it really helps me to really prioritize, and then it's less anxiety producing because I really get to see what is the most important thing to me. I mean, all these are important, but to me, what's the first thing I need to do so that I can do the next thing so that it all makes sense. And like this hair appointment, it says due. It's not something I need to do this week even. It's something I'd like to do, clearly. I also know I'm going to have to work with her schedule, so I just need to call and schedule an appointment. But that's not going to be at the top of my to-do list. It's going to be at my, near the bottom once I get some of the other things done. And now I have this one too, I defer that. And so now I have kind of for myself an idea of what I'm waiting on from other people, what I need to defer or have deferred, and then what needs to be done. So once I have this kind of prioritized for me, and there's a lot of ways that you can go about doing this. There's the Eisenhower method, and you can decide what's important, not important, urgent, not urgent. I think the Stephen Covey maybe uses that first things first kind of method. I think I keep that in mind in my head, but for some people it's good to like draw out a map and just know for yourself urgent, not urgent, important, not important, and just fill in your squares. So the goal is when you're working in this important urgent square, you're always kind of putting out fires, right? You're always kind of responding, and this causes anxiety. And I don't like working in this square. Important, not urgent is a good place to be because it's important. It's usually things that I value, but it's not urgent. That means I don't have stress on my life, and I can do them and I can schedule them on my calendar at my leisure. So this is the place where I like to work. Then you have urgent things that are not important. So usually these are things that are important to other people, and they think they're important, and they think you need to do them before you do the other things in your life. I do these second, sometimes third. Like I value that other people are doing things, but that's not my priority. This one is my priority. This one, sometimes I have to do these first because they're the fires and I have to put them out. But I would prefer to work in this quadrant. And the last one is not urgent and not important. And we spend a lot of wasting time in this. Sorry, this isn't prettier. But we do. We spend a lot of time wasting in here. Social media, phone calls, like not urgent or important phone calls, just time wasters. And the more you kind of track what you're doing, you can see where you're spending the majority of your time. And for me, when I'm up in here, I have a lot more anxiety. And I don't like that. And here, I'm not getting anything done. So I typically am in one of these two here because this is my life functioning the way I want it to be, and the things that are important to me, and I'm not putting out fires, and I can do them at my the order that I find is a priority, and this is when I'm responding to other people, so I can decide where I do it in the scheme of my day. Again, that's probably not the most professional description of that, but it's the best way that I understand it. And if you want to know more about that, as I know that there are a lot of books out there. First Thing First would be really a good place to start. I have that book on my bookshelf somewhere. I don't, this is kind of ingrained in me now to where I just think of it automatically. Now I'm going to take these things and I'm going to do the third step on David Allen's GTD method, which is organize. So now that I decided what to do with it, now I need to decide the actionable items. They need to go either on a calendar or on a list. And the waiting on items need to go on a waiting on list. And so that's where all the lists come in handy, because David Allen says all you really need are lists and folders or files, some way to keep track of the projects and all the lists that you're doing, and the lists to keep you moving forward with those things. So that is what I use my everyday carry for. My current projects and ongoing kind of, some tasks just need to be repeated either weekly, daily, monthly. And so that's what I do here. This is my list where I just kind of keep a master running list of things here, and it's part of my review, but I didn't pull it out when I was doing that. But if I don't do it when I do this, when I transfer things onto it, I'll update this. So as I go to move things over, I'll look at this and I'll know I already did this. And some of these are, I put them down here again, which means they're really on my mind. So I might want to put a little star here to tell me to, you know, you might put that near the top of the to-do list, but I'll do that in, that'll be the next step. So now I'm just going to transfer all the actionable items to my master list if it's something that I can work on. So, so I make these cards for my friend, and I do them at the beginning of the month. And so once I do that and I put it on my list, I just scratch it off of there, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. Then I'm going to skip my waiting on. I'm not going to put it on this list right now. I'm just going to put my to-do, so I know that this ball's in someone else's court. And if I'm feeling like I need to micromanage someone, which I try not to do, but there are some people that really just need their hand held and reminded. And when it's something that's super important to me, I'm a little more on top of reminding them every day. I haven't heard from you. I'm waiting on this from you. But if it's something they've asked of me, I'm going to wait till they get back to me, because I don't need to manage their time. So that's kind of something that helps me a lot to know what things to do when. So if it says waiting on, I'm not going to put it on this list right now. And then I'm going to just remind myself. So then I use a combination of GTD and bullet journal. I didn't used to think that I could bullet journal, because I thought bullet journaling had to look like everybody else's bullet journal that I saw on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, that it needed to be beautiful and it needed to be artistic, and it, you know, I don't plan that way. And some people do, and that is beautiful. I love watching those videos, and I love watching those plan with me's and setup videos, but that is just not how I work. And so I didn't understand fully how beneficial the bullet journal method could be in combination with GTD until a year ago, last July, when the One Book July was to try bullet journal for a month. And it was in combination with this to read the bullet journal method book. And so I did, and that really gave me clarity as to how I could incorporate bullet journaling in my planning system. And so this is a really good book, and I recommend it if you're interested in learning more about bullet journaling. But the basic system, it's not requires all the beautiful page decorations and coloring and stuff. That's something, if you like doing, you can add to it. And I found out I didn't need to do that. The basics are following a system of tracking your tasks, and either when they're done, checking them off. If they're not done, and you're moving them forward, so he calls that migrating. So what I'm doing is migrating things from my bullet dump, or my brain dump list here, to my master task list. Then once I've done that, like here, I'm going to put an arrow forward, which means I've migrated that task forward. Sometimes I just go ahead and scratch it out just because it makes me feel good, but it's on this list now. This one, again, I'm waiting on someone else, so I don't need to worry about that, but I'm going to move this forward. So this is going to tell me to do this, and I can either schedule a time on my calendar to go and do the groceries shopping, which is normally what I do, or I can look at white space on my calendar between other events that I can sit down and put out my list or run to the store or whatever works for me. So this just means I migrated it to that list. And so I'm going to do that here, and then I'll come back really quickly. Okay, once I have migrated all of these to my task list, then I usually put this book away, because the next thing is to continue to organize these things. So some of them are get them scheduled. Some of them are make a phone call. Some of them are send an email. And so I do these when I have white spaces on my calendar. So let's see if I can. When I'm setting up for November, I'm going to pull out my November calendar, which I will get my big master calendar out, and just continue to make sure that my appointments are synced up on my monthly. And then what I like to do between my appointments, this is what I call white space, the places in my calendar where I can get things done. And so I'll decide, am I going to make phone calls here? Am I going to do emails here? You know, and I usually batch them together, because if I'm already at the computer, it's easier. It's just as easy to make one email as it is 3 or 4 emails. If I'm sitting down to make phone calls, depending on the person, because some people, we have lengthy conversations, and I know that I have to block out a little more time for them. But if they're just those quick, you know, call and schedule an appointment kind of things, or follow up on something, I can batch those together. So I will go through at the beginning of each week and pull what I can off of here and plug it in where I think I'm going to work on them. I don't always work through a whole list in a week. Sometimes I'll be working on this and adding to it for a couple of weeks, and I'll work through it, and I'll do them in whatever order I feel led to do them, whatever I feel like I have the energy for, or whatever priority is. So these little bitty stars that I put on the side mean I've carried them forward a couple of times now, and they are important to me, but they haven't been urgent, but I'm ready to just get them done and off of there. And that means I just be a little more intentional about putting those at the top of my list. And so that's just my shorthand for me. So that's how I do that. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go over my monthly. So once I've captured, clarified, I've started the organization process, but this is just like one step of organizing my brain dump. Now I need to go through and organize my calendars, my monthly views. This is my everyday carry, and then my master calendar that I leave at home for everything. So the very next thing that I do, this is my this week, is I'm going to take a look at my monthly overview and in my work planner. And this is just my master do it all. I shared this in previous videos. I talk about it in all my videos, actually. I put this together so that it works for me. You know, something is everybody thinks a little differently. I mean, there are some things that we all have in common when it comes to planning, but we need different tools. And I don't think there's any one right way. It's just whatever's best for you. I also know that because I use a bilateral planning approach, because I need to. I recognize that sometimes just having this white space and words is hard for me to understand. And I want stickers and pictures and colors and all the things. And that's what I use this planner for. But sometimes I can't process, and I can't make sense, and I can't stay focused. And I just need something maybe a little different that's more of a list where I can just, you know, write down all the things. You know, I might use this as a daily and have my appointments and then to-do lists. And I might just carry this in there instead of my master task list, because everything else might feel overwhelming. It just really, there's no one right way. And once you have established a system for yourself, it doesn't even matter that you use the same book every time, just whatever's easiest for you. So sometimes I'll be using this more. This goes with me everywhere, but sometimes I just want a piece of paper and I just want to write notes. Sometimes I want to use sticky notes for everything. So the goal is just to have a system that works for you. And for me, GTD really did help revolutionize the way I process my things. Once I get to sit down, I look at my overview. I want to make sure that everything is lined up and see if anything has happened since my last review of it. So I reviewed it last weekend when I did my weekly review, but I was doing it more for making sure that my this week was synced up. Now I'm going to go through, and I was focused on October because it's still October. Now I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make sure everything for November is synced up. So I know that I have a Zoom here. For Team Zoom, and I had written it here because I had this open when I was making the arrangements for it. So I'm just going to move it over here, and then it's still here. And then I have this meeting. This is election day. I already voted in the advanced voting, but it's still election day. My mom has some doctor appointments, and it looks like I have a massage appointment that is not on this one. But my massage will be out in time to take my mom to her doctor appointment. And this doesn't need to be on my big calendar necessarily, because these are my friends' birthdays, and I just want to remember them. And they are on my mind because I made a note to myself to get them birthday cards and to not forget that this is their birthday. And so, as you can see, the calendar that I like to use is a Monday start, but these inserts are Sunday start, so I always have to kind of double check. I like seeing things a Monday start just because it is how my mind thinks. Even though I was raised, you know, in school systems and everything using a calendar that's Sunday start, I don't actually think this way. And so, but some of my monthlies are that way, so I just have to like double check it. But this is my preferred thinking style. And knowledge is half the battle. I didn't understand maybe before. Maybe I had trouble keeping track of what day was what, and I didn't feel right. You know, we have an internal clock, and sometimes it could feel off. So I feel like it's more on when I look at a calendar and it starts with Monday. So then for this week, it looks like I don't have a lot of appointments up yet, which is nice. And I do know that we are going to start having this as a weekly weekly meeting. And now I have this sticky note here I need to schedule a eye doctor appointment for May of 2021. And so the earliest I can do that, I put the sticky note to remind me, is November. So this has been here since May of 2019. May of 2019. I had this sticky note in another planner, and then I've just moved it forward, I think is what I did. So it's been back here. So I'm going to move this anyway to November. And hopefully I'm going to get it scheduled here in November. But if I don't, I can migrate this, but I'll also have the sticky there to remind me. It's maybe a little redundant, but it's going to help me remember. Things scheduled. Okay, so now that I know that I have my monthly master and my everyday carry synced up, then I'm going to go through my list here and decide if there's anything on here that has to go on this calendar next. And so I had told myself that I was going to do these about here, and it looks like a good thing to do. So this is the difference between time-sensitive time and tasks. I will not put all these tasks on my calendar unless I give myself a day deadline. So because I gave myself a day deadline, I'm now going to put on my calendar. And I'm just putting it as a task box to check off. But I know that I specifically want to do it this day. So this is when you can arrow this forward to know that it has moved on to my calendar. I'm not going to draw the line through it yet because it's not done. Like I would draw the line through on this list if it were finished. So Tai Chi, that is something that goes on the calendar. So I know that this week I have it listed on this calendar, but it is a reoccurring appointment that's going to be every Friday. So I want to add this here. And then I think we're not going to have a class this week. So now I know that I put this on the calendar. So now I can scratch that off because there's nothing more for me to do except go to the appointment. And so I have it on this week's already. Well, wrong week. We're still in October, but I have it on this week's appointment already. So when I go to set up next week, I will add it here because it's on my monthly, and I will look at this week to say what appointments are coming up. So this is how I organize, which is step 3 of GTD, every step along the way. So as you can see, some of these things are getting crossed off right away. So meal plan and groceries. I know that that's something for me. If I don't schedule a time to do it, I just won't do it. One, because I forget about it. It's still one of those things that is hard for me to remember if I don't have a trigger in my mind to do it. Eating meals during the day. If I don't tell myself to schedule it, sometimes I don't eat. So I typically do grocery shopping, like my major grocery shopping at the beginning of the month, and then I for setting up this meal plan and deciding what groceries to get with that near the beginning of the month. So it would be Friday is really busy, so it's probably going to be on Saturday. And also, since I'm going to go see my daughter, we might go grocery shopping. And so, we will, because I think she needs groceries. And so, I am going to write it here. Because we can get, staples, like toilet paper and, big bulk things. But if I'm going to go actual grocery shopping here and maybe get a few odds and ends, because I'm going to go visit her in her town. I'll do that there. When I'll come back and get little things here, I know I need the list. So it means I need to meal plan before that. So this is really 2 items, which I could have made 2 boxes for things, which I guess I will. I'll add a box there because groceries is different than meal planning. So I'll come look at my list, and I think that I'm going to, I already see that I'm missing an appointment here. It just came to me. So see, that can happen sometimes when I'm doing all this and I'm looking, and then all of a sudden I can realize I have just had an appointment pop up this just like yesterday, and now I have to go find it, but I think it's here. So that means I'm probably not going to meal plan here. It means I'm going to meal plan here. So I'm going to just put it as a task. I'm just going to look at this space here, and I'm going to tell myself when to do it. And I know that during this space here, I like to work on this script Hildebrand. So I'm going to just write that here, because I'm going to need that whole block of time to do that. And typically that's what I do on Thursdays. I do have myself scheduled to go to water aerobic in the morning. One of the things that I was waiting on is my routine from my physical therapist, which I think she's going to give it to me on Wednesday, which I will go there. And I didn't go this morning because it was snowing and icing and sleeting, and I said, I'm staying home today. So, so this is what I mean. My calendar is starting to get full, and I need to start looking at what I can do in these white spaces, this block of time. So I put script Hildebrand. So I put that here. And I'm going to leave this open until I mark it off. But I'm just going to put a little arrow, meaning I put it on my calendar. Now these emails, I'm going to sit down and make a separate list. And that's where these sticky notes come in handy. Is I will now categorize my tasks so that I can just look at this and not look at anything else and just do the thing. So here I will say this is an email list. So I want to email, and I'm going to say Missy. And then I'm going to say Husky. And then I'm going to say so. Then I'm going to put my phone calls here. I'm going to say gotta make plans for Thanksgiving. And this is where I'm going to put in my make phone calls to set up my hair appointment. And my oil change. And so that's all of the emails or phone calls I need to do. So when I decide what spot I'm going to do those, I'm just going to pull this out and I'm going to check, check, check. And I'm only going to like focus on sending emails at one white spot block. And maybe a different one, I'm going to say, I'm going to make my phone calls. And I'm going to pick a larger block because it's my mom and my Uncle Bill. And these are 2 appointments that I can make pretty quickly. So I would probably even say, I'm going to do these like 1, 2, 3, 4. And I may even prioritize them that way for myself, so I know, get these done. These are going to take a little longer. And that's how I'll do that. So this, I will put this note right here, right in my everyday carry. And because I know that I want to do it this week, I'm just going to set it right there. Looks like a good place for it. And we're on Tuesday. So I know that I'm going to start filling them in. And I had that appointment that I didn't put down here. So I got myself sidetracked because I know I needed to now meal plan. And I decided that I was going to do that over here. And see, by giving myself a time to actually do it, I'm making an appointment with myself to get it done. Rather than just say, oh, I'll do it, you know. Then I might find myself over there in that not important, not urgent column, scrolling Facebook, when I could be getting my grocery list together because I meal plan. So once I've done that, I'm going to check this off. I'm going to scratch it the rest of the way out when it's done, but this means I put it on my calendar. This means I put it on my calendar. So once I get to Ashley, I know that I put her on here already because, again, top of mind. And I've already spoken to her or emailed her once. And we're going to get together the first part of next week. So at the end of the week when I do my weekly review, I'm going to say, oh, I need to put this on my list to call her or email her next week. So that's done. Now, the next thing is this item that has a star by it. I'm going to put it right over here. I'm going to make myself do it. Right here. And this invoice, I know that I do it here. So I'm just going to pick an arbitrary time in the day because it won't matter when I do it really. But I will tell myself that I want to do it at 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock on Saturday, if I didn't do it earlier in the morning, I will do it then. I know I'm going to do this on Friday. So I will do it when I'm done here. This means I have not made the appointment yet, so let me scratch that out. I have made myself a list to call about the appointment. This will be when I've actually got the appointment. So I think everything else are things that I will finish during this week, because that's what it's for. So the rest of these, because they're not like the urgent, if I made a box, that means I'm going to do them at that time. If I didn't put them on my calendar, then I'm going to do them as I have time during the week. And so I will put this list up, and I won't look at this again until I have some time during my day to do them. So today everything changed because we have snow, and I did totally different things, and I was good with it. So in fact, I'm even going to write. That's what I chose to do today. So then I decided to make a video. Where are we at? Wow, it's already 6 o'clock at night. Oh, I think I started here. Okay. So now I have my week updated, because I already set this up on the weekend, but because my week kind of changed, because we've had weather and we will continue to have weather, I know that a few more of these things are going to change. Possibly. I still have this appointment. I still have these, as long as they don't cancel it. As they canceled Monday. So now I've got the first part of my planning done, all the way through step 3. So the next step in David Allen's GTD method is reflect. So I'm kind of doing that with you here, which I'm reflecting on camera while I film, because one, that helps me process. I'm a verbal processor, so talking things out helps me. But then when I go back to edit the video and review the footage, I might catch something that I said that I didn't realize that might trigger another thought, just like this appointment. I didn't even remember it until I got to this place. So, for me, going back and reviewing video footage is helpful. But also is reflecting on my day. So that is something that I do at the end of the day, the end of the week, the middle of the week, whenever I feel like it, just to kind of review, reflect on what I have done, count my successes, my wins, and I'll do my gratitude. I'll journal. I will fill in any spots maybe that I want to remember. That's what I use this planner for. So this is where I do reflecting. I do journaling. Obviously, I keep school notes in here. I've shared that before. I will list my gratitude, one thing a day kind of thing. I will write out maybe what happened during the day. I'll go back in today and I will fill out that I made the video. I'll fill out the phone calls that I made today. Anything that I want to remember for today. If I put a sticker down, I'll put a sticker down. If I decide I want to create some new stickers, which is not uncommon, then I'll do that. And I'll just reflect on where I'm at, how I'm doing, how I'm progressing towards my goals, and am I on track? Do I want to keep forward? Reflecting for me is something that's kind of ongoing and is a part of my daily, weekly, monthly review annually. For me this week, one of the things that I want to do for my reflection and looking forward is a new vision board or mood board. And I'm doing that. So I have it listed over here. If you had noticed somewhere in the video, is for what's your why. So that kind of precipitated this video, but one of the workshops that we're getting ready to do is working with the girls on creating their own mood board and determining their why. And so I'm going to be creating one to use as an example for the workshop. I do them often digitally sometimes like glue, cut, paste. I'll make one for one specific goal or vision, or I might do it for general, like at the beginning of the year, to set my intention and that kind of thing. So that's how I plan to review this week and creating that. So that only leaves one left thing, and that is to engage. So the 5th step in David Allen's Getting Things Done methodology is just do it. Get out there and do the things. So my tonight was, I made this YouTube video. So the next thing I should put on here is edit video, so that I do it, and I'll finish that this evening, have it up by this weekend, hopefully. Decide if it needs to be in multi-parts or if I can string it all together in one video. I don't know. Feels like a lot. And then just, I'll keep doing the things that I have put on my list. So I'll wake up tomorrow. I will decide if I want to use a daily page or not in my everyday carry. I will open up, which I didn't use today, but I will open it up and I will just list out my to-dos. In fact, let's just do it now. We'll just do it now because it's almost tomorrow. I sometimes will set this up the night before, and if I don't do it the night before, then I do it first thing in the morning as part of my preview my day. I put these things here, and I put this task, which I had put down for 3 o'clock. Maybe I want to do it in here. I'm not going to make myself do it right then, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. So that's it. And then once I have this, and if I still have white space between there, then I can look at my week and say, do I have enough time to make these calls or these emails? And that's how you engage. You decide for yourself what's important, you put it on your calendar, and you just do it. And then you have time to spend. As you can see, I like to keep my weekends open. That's when I like to do whatever I want to do. So thank you for letting me share this. This is more of my why I plan, and how I use GTD for me to set up my month. So thanks for joining me, and if you found this video valuable, just leave me a note in the comment. Leave me a note in the comment. Leave me a comment in the notes. Well, you know what I mean. Let me know if you liked it. If you'd like to see more of kind of my process and me kind of stumbling through and just talking through how I do it, I would love to share that with you. So thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.